Yeah, I would request everybody to please mute yourself and keep your video off so that we can have an uninterrupted session. If you have any questions, you can definitely raise your hand or you can write your questions in the chat box and we will be addressing those questions. Okay, so don't worry on that part.
So Priyanka, do you want to start with the questions and the discussion?
Yes, we can. So let me just go ahead. Yeah. Okay, so if I talk about, Mikhail, this new Save 6 framework, like it has a lot of new things. I would say that it has okay, people are still coming in. I just need to admit them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
So in the Save 6, I think the best part, or you can say that something which is new to everybody, that is this AI and big data. So we can see that it has been, because we always talk about the new technologies, the new terminologies that we are using in the market. And somewhere I think SAFE has done a tremendous job in adapting those new things. And I think that is the reason that we have now AI and big data as an introductory part in the framework, in the big picture even, so that anybody can go and just have a look at it, that what exactly it is about. So do you want to like mention anything about AI big data, or how is it going to be used in the future, or are we expecting any new courseware with these things?
Yes, definitely. So let's start with the whys. So, and it was quite an interesting conversation within the community because this is kind of, as you said, technology that we can now find in the big picture. And why do we have artificial intelligence in there? Well, because we recognize that artificial intelligence nowadays can revolutionize the solutions we are providing as a safe organization. And definitely they can have an impact, a massive impact on the business. And this independently on the level they are applied to, or these artificial intelligence solutions are applied to. It could be an art level, could be a solution train level. And that's also the reason why we have artificial intelligence in what we call this panning palette on the right-hand side of the big picture here. A different reason is related to big data, because we think it's as a portfolio concern, not just because it is going to impact the way we are working, and also is pretty much related to the artificial intelligence solutions, but also because it needs a vision, it needs an investment strategy, it needs what we call the portfolio governance. So that's the reason why we find big data on top within the portfolio layer, or what we call the portfolio layer. And last but not least, we are also talking about cloud, and we put it very close to the DevOps icon. Well, because we think DevOps capabilities are continuously or are fueled by cloud. So only with a cloud strategy, we will be able to boost the continuous delivery pipeline we have. And we know how important it is when we are in an agile organization, a lean agile organization. Now, we are not, even if we are giving some guidance around all these three topics, calling them the ABC, I don't think we will be releasing any specific training on that, also because we are not the expert in big data or artificial intelligence. So we are just trying to set and trying to build a bridge between those and the safe practices. So I don't see we will launch any specific training on that. We might have big data, artificial intelligence, and clouds in the actual training embedded. Yes, this is going to be the case, but we will not have specific training on that.
Okay, okay, that sounds, I think, fair also to the people, because I think in that otherwise we will have mixed uh, methodologies talking about safe, and which one might will not be um, somewhere favoring the safe approach that they are talking about, the framework, the practices that they have. Okay, okay. So people are still joining in. So again, I'm welcoming everybody who has recently joined the session. Another thing that I would like to check, Michelle, with you, with that when new courseware are getting released as of now, that only we have few courses which are being released on 15th of March. And when can we expect the other courses to be released? Any expected date that you would like to mention here?
Yeah, we had the strategy this time for the first time actually when we put it the new SAFe 6.0 was also to have quite a few trainings, at least the most relevant one, already prepared or already updated to the version 6.0, also in the different languages. So we have also leading SAFe in different languages, which has been updated. But there are a few courses that will come in the next few months. So the RT course, for example, is expected by May 20th. This is at least our roadmap, our intention. The APM, so the Agile Product Management, will follow on June 9th. And then we have a couple of trainings, so the DevOps training and the Advanced Scrum Master training. They are in our backlog. We plan to deliver them in Q3 later this year, but we do not have any release date for them. And then we have also a couple of trainings that we are still thinking about updating them. This is the ASE course and the Safe for Government. They are for now on their roadmap, but there is no specific date and either not specific quarter for the release. We are still evaluating if we are going to update those training to the version 6.0.
Okay.
The good news is that almost all relevant courses are already in the version SAFe 6.0, so you can use them.
Okay, okay, that's okay. Definitely, I also see somewhere that we have come up with the OKRs thing, that objective key result. And do you would like to elaborate that? Is there any specific role which is responsible to establishing the OKRs, or it is something, a kind of a unified team approach that we need to go for?
Yeah, I mean, it's first of all, the OKRs are in the framework since quite a few time. And the reason for that is, even if we are not mandating OKRs, but we have seen many organizations are starting using the OKR framework and all the advantages connected to it in their organization. So what we were recommending from the version 5.1 was just to use OKRs for enhancing the strategic alignment. If you remember the strategic themes we have in SAFe that are at the end, the link between the enterprise strategy and what we call the portfolio vision, means the solutions that are needed to enhance and to get into the future state of the portfolio. So we were been using the OKRs for leveraging them. Means the strategic team had the structure of the OKRs, but then we have seen other patterns within organizations adopting SAFe and using OKRs. And the one is enhanced, if you want, on the development value stream layer, in which they are extending into ARDs and trying to even streamline more the alignment between the enterprise strategy and the portfolio strategy. But also other two areas. So the first one being the epics and the lean business cases. And so defining the business outcomes using OKRs. And as you know, the epic are these the big initiatives we have on the portfolio layer that deserve not just a lean business case, but also a specific structure, if you want. And one important point was, what are the business outcomes? What are we shooting for with this specific epic? And we have seen that many of the organizations adopting SAFe are using OKRs for defining those business outcomes within the epics. A third area of application, which is emerging, is also the SAFe transformation itself. So using OKRs to really identify the goals, the objectives we want to pursue with the SAFe transformation, because this is about the mission we have. So we do not implement SAFe just for implementing it. We are just trying to solve some challenges and problems we have within our organizations. And so another point or another area we have seen OKRs being applied is so how we can set the baseline for the transformation and how we can make sure that the transformation is achieving the goals we are identifying. There is another debate, I would say, which is interesting because some people are arguing about using the OKRs instead of PI objectives. We have seen several organizations trying to do that, but we have also seen they are struggling. And the reason is, there are actually two reasons. So the first one is OKRs are more long-lasting than just one PI. And then, so using OKRs, which are a little bit more on a longer term focus, is probably not the best way to approach the PI objectives. Also because PI objectives are sometimes at least very activity driven, and the OKRs are more outcomes driven. But the other reason is also because within PI planning, and this is the place where PI objectives are identified and formulated, you don't have the time to go too much deep and to have the right conversation, because formulating OKRs is a tough job, and it's something you cannot squeeze into the PI planning process. Also because PI planning is full of activities and is full of alignment process, so that we see the OKRs not really helping teams formulating their PI objectives.
Okay, there is a question. There are actually two questions in the chat box. I can see that. One is related to the OKR, and that's why I will take that one first. So somebody has asked that who decides between OKR or PI objectives? Is it the release train engineer or the solution train engineer? Or is it completely the organizational decision?
I would say it depends, because if we look at the strategic alignment, so the initial purpose of the OKRs with the strategic themes, I would say is normally what we call the collaboration on the portfolio layer, which is made out of our value management office, the enterprise architect team probably, and the solution portfolio management team. So all the people that are really helping to, let's say, identify and formulate the right OKRs, and making sure that these OKRs are in line with the enterprise strategy. If we are looking more into the epics and the lean business case, I would say definitely the LPM function, and of course supported by the given epic owners. So as you know, in SAFe, every epic deserves an epic owner, which is not the program manager, is not a project manager, but is the one who is shepherding the epic throughout the flow system we have on the portfolio layer. And definitely these two collaborations, so to speak, are in charge of defining the specific OKRs on a single epic. And then if we look into the SAFe transformation, that was the third areas we were identifying, I definitely see delays and also deciding on what you were asking. So who is deciding if PI objectives can or cannot be transformed or cannot be formulated using the OKRs? I would say, of course, is the RT, of course, is the team on the art level, but definitely specifically at the beginning, but also for standardizing the way of doing things within the organization. I see definitely delays as responsible for defining not the single OKRs, but at least defining, are we going to make the experiment using OKRs for PI objectives or not? Even if, as I said, we do not recommend doing that.
Okay. So, Adul, I hope that you must have got your answer. If you have still any question, okay, I saw your thumbs up. Thank you so much. Another question that I can see in the chat box, Mikhail, that is about related to the AI big data, that as we have come up in SAFe 6.0 with AI, big data, and cloud. So are we expecting, I think, RPA and IPA be the next additions in the following versions?
So RPA, so this robotic process automation or intelligent process automation are a derivation from artificial intelligence. And of course, for many companies, working with SAFe is going to be relevant. But as I said, we will not be proposing, or we will not give any guidance around specific technology or specific approaches to artificial intelligence or robotics. What we will do, and started already, is the guidance around SAFe and how SAFe can support this new technology. Of course, taking care of the different nuances. As I said, artificial intelligence, being conscious about the potential artificial intelligence and robotics and all the other connected topics have in organizations, and of course trying to find a way how SAFe can specifically support artificial intelligence on the different layer, essential, large solution, or within one train or a solution train. And the same for big data as being a portfolio concern, as well as the cloud capability in terms of enable our capability to deliver faster. In that sense, we will definitely provide some guidance, but we will not provide any guidance, any specific guidance around the different technologies. The same way we do not do around DevOps. So we are more focused on the organizational part, more on the cultural part of DevOps, and not on the tooling part. We are not giving any guidance on what are the best tooling you should use.
Okay, that sounds fair enough to, I think, to all the audience, to all the participants, whoever have had that question. Another question that I have is that we have seen SAFe value stream and agile release train identification workshop in the implementation roadmap. Is there any specific role who is facilitating that workshop, or who is conducting that workshop, or is it in a generalized way?
Now, I would distinguish, because if we talk about the value stream and identification workshop, which is the workshop or the activity we recommend at the very beginning, not just of the very beginning of the transformation, but actually the very beginning of every single art launch, or at least the identification of the development value stream, I would say we should be very careful in having the right people participating and maybe first promoting and supporting that this workshop is taking place. But also we as change agent, as SPCs, probably working with allays, we should make sure that the right people are participating. And what do I mean with right people? So we need definitely people from the solution side. I'm thinking about product management, solution management, depending on the size of the operational value stream and the connected development value stream, but also the solution architecture, system architecture. So the people that are more or coming more from the technical area, and definitely RTEs, people that are also conscious about who are the people working on the different solutions and systems that are supporting the operational value stream, and also definitely working within the potential development value stream. So you need to identify the right people, also because the takeaways, or better say the outcomes of these workshops, are pretty clear. So on the one side, you want to identify these development value stream and the connected or the derived agile restraint, and you want to know how big they are going to be in terms of, do we need more than one train covering a development value stream? Do we need even a solution train? And these virtual organizations are made out of people. So we need also to have a clear picture about what are the roles we will need within that particular development value stream. And we need to know where these people are. And we need to know also if we have that roles and if we have that people that will be joining the development value stream already in our organization or within other business unit that we need to talk to, or maybe they are just question marks because we know the role is needed, but we don't have the people. That's a reason also why normally we start also Agile Restraint not having all the development value stream, or better said, all the people on board that we might need, is also a good scope of the workshop to identify where are we needing more people. And also at the beginning, so is a very powerful instrument to create alignment within all the stakeholders, and having the right people on board will definitely accelerate not just the art launch, but also the adoption of SAFe within a given development value stream or business unit, depending. So we need to be very, very careful, and we need to pay attention and invest time into identify the right people that will be joining that workshop. On the other side, we need, as I said at the beginning, to distinguish between the value stream and identification workshop from the value stream mapping workshop or activities. And these are much more related to a single art or a single development value stream. So what we want to make sure when we have an art up and running, that we will be able to streamline the flow of value, and we will be able to identify the bottlenecks. And for doing that, I recommend using the value stream mapping workshop material we have, but also actually the DevOps training itself, bringing all the people working on the development value stream or on the art, and making sure that they are identifying all the steps and making all the efforts to identifying the first bottlenecks that needs to be solved. So they are quite powerful instruments both, but they are there for two different scope and not necessarily at the same time.
Okay. The another thing also I have seen and observed, even the participants, when we train people, they have also come up with these questions, that there is a heavy usage of the term flow into SAFe 6. Like we have come up with art flow, team flow, solution train flow, portfolio flow. And they say that the participant says that, okay, it looks like that SAFe is getting more closer to the Kanban, because Kanban also somewhere talks about the workflow of value. What is your view on that? What do you think? That is it actually true that we are getting more closer to the Kanban?
I wouldn't say that we are going more closer to Kanban, also because it would be a very restrictive view on that. I think since ever, SAFe has been a flow-based system in which we were insisting on the importance of first systemic view of an organization, systemic view on a system which is building the systems. And this is directly related to the roots of SAFe. So remember, is not just agile, it's not just the agile manifesto and the principles, but is also lean thinking. And in lean thinking, the construct or the basic construct is the value stream, which is actually the depiction of the flow, if you want. And we were insisting from the very beginning how important it is not just to optimize part of the organization or part of the value stream, but take a systemic view and try to optimize the entire flow of value. And this is directly related to now, let's say, a more prominent presence of flow. And you can see here in the big picture on every level, because we said, so we need to assure the flow of value. We need to assure that we identify whoever is going to consume the work of an agile restraint of a team, because this is applying on different level. And we need to make it smooth, linear, and we need to assure that we will be fast in delivering that value. And we need also to identify what are the bottlenecks between one step and the next. And only doing that, we will be making sure that we are delivering that value in that velocity, if you want. But we also recognize that independently from the layer we are in, if we are considering just a team or maybe an art or even a solution train, we identify 8 common properties of flow. And without going into too much details, but we say every flow system has a work in progress in there. So if we talk about an art is features, if we talk about the team are user stories, we also have batch sizes, different batch sizes within the system. We also have a feedback loop. We have definitely people working within the value stream, and also bottlenecks, we say, that needs to be identified. And then what we said, if we are able to measure and to really be conscious about where these bottlenecks are and where the handoffs are, then we might come up with a different instrument that we call the 8 flow accelerator that might give us the possibility to either disrupt or better say, solve that bottlenecks, or make that handoff a little bit more speedy, or definitely make sure that the flow of value is granted so that we don't have interruptions, which is also related with quality, which is also related to the way we are organized and work. And so also here, without going into too much detail, so we have from visualizing and limiting the work in progress, which is not new, down to reducing, of course, queue lengths, optimizing the so-called time in the zone. So because we recognize when people are focused and working on one single assignment at once, they are much more productive and they are in the flow, as we say, and probably they are going to be delivering that piece of value much quicker than if they are jumping from one meeting to the other or from one assignment to the other. So, and just for closing the loop, we said every flow system has its own characteristics, its own properties. We have a way to measure where we have problem or challenges in that particular flow system. And then using and leveraging the 8 flow accelerator, we will be able to come up and solve that bottlenecks or that problems within the flow system. So, and just closing and closing the answer to your question, I think all of this has been there all the time. What we did with the version 6.0 was just to make it very prominent, very clear. We were writing all these, let's say, characteristics of the system on every single level, so that now it's pretty obvious and it's pretty well explained what we mean when we talk about flow on a team level, on an art level, on a solution train level, or even on a portfolio level. So the idea was to make it prominent and to make sure people really understand what we mean by that.
I agree with you on this, that yes, it was always there, I think, flow, but yes, with Safe 6 big picture, it's more specific as for the team. What is the flow for art? What is the flow, and so on. Yeah. So I think we have I have like you have answered all of my questions. So thank you so much for that. I will just quickly have a look at the chat, and I can see one question which has been asked. So that is about what is your view on House of Lean is now being discontinued and two pillars being introduced as value, and how does it reflect in the current situation in the world and learning we have over a period using safe framework at various clients? Because like it, I think they are referring to Safe House of Lean, which has been discontinued now.
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple of reasons for that. So, and of course, we are been discontinuing the House of Lean, and we do not have it anymore in the framework as a let's say supporting construct. But all the elements we have or we had in there are not gone, right? So the reason why we did that is because we wanted also to simplify the message. So we thought we had, of course, the Agile Manifesto, and we were referring all the time to lean thinking, even if it's not in a, let's say, proper way. And then we had, and we still have the core values as well as the 10 safe lean agile principles, and then the House of Lean. So we tried to streamline a little bit the message. And we said, of course, we have the roots of SAFe are in the agile way of working. So the Agile Manifesto and the agile principles representing that, but also in the lean thinking approach with their 5 principles. And so talking about the House of Lean, so the value, which is the top of the House of Lean, is now part of these lean thinking principles that we are adopting and always putting together with the agile values. And the number one of these principles is saying precisely specify value by product. And this is exactly where we can find the value part of the House of Lean. And with value, we don't mean always money or revenues. It could be risk reduction. It could be well-being, depending on the sector and on the company. What we then did, we take 2 of the pillars, so being respect for people and relentless improvement, and we promote them, if you want, into core values. So now, because we recognize the importance, not just for these continuous and relentless improvement we need within our organization, but also the importance of the people, because people are not just the ones that are doing the work, are also the ones that are consuming the work. And so we consider more than the program execution we had before as a core values, that these 2 more represent or best represent the core values we are also using in SAFe and basing all the other practices and principle on top of it. But then what we have is innovation, which is also has not disappeared, is or has been always a dimension in the continuous learning culture competency. So remember, we have the 7 core competencies within the business agility wheel in SAFe. And I mean, innovation is a strong element and an important element comprised in one of these competencies. And flow is now everywhere, as we said before, is not just in the big picture, as we see here, but it also the principle number 6 has been reformulated and now is make value flow without interruptions, and is basically let's say summarizing all the stuff we had, not just in the House of Lean, but also in other parts of the framework. And now is, if you want, the single place or the place in which we will find all the principle related to flow is the principle number 6. And then leadership is of course was the basement of the House of Lean. And we already had the Lean Agile leadership competencies as being one of the other 7 core competencies in SAFe. So actually we had a kind of a redundancy there. And now we have it clear, defined, and as you can see also in the big picture, is one of the 2 core competencies that are at the basement of the entire system, if you want, being Lean Agile leadership on the left and continuous learning culture on the right. And that's more or less the story behind why the House of Lean is not there anymore.
Okay. I think definitely it would have answered the question somebody has asked. I think, Mikhail, now we can move to the presentation and we can have a look at it and we can see that if we have more questions on that part, because I think we are good with the questions now. Yeah. So business agility value stream, yes, quite interesting, I would say, because somewhere we find that this is applicable only when you have proficiency on all the 7 core competencies. Like when you master all 7 core competencies, then you can achieve that. That means full SAFe configuration. So am I understanding it correctly? That is it the only full SAFe configuration where we can achieve, or where this business agility value stream can be applicable, or can we apply this at all the levels like essential, large, portfolio?
I would say let's make a step back first, and let's try to understand why we have now the depiction, or why we have now the so-called business agility value stream. So we said before, we are in almost every sector, almost every organization is in this transformation mode, because businesses are being disrupted. We were talking about artificial intelligence and big data and cloud, and how all of this is unlocking new possibilities, especially artificial intelligence, so bringing business and solutions to the next level, and also opening new opportunities, not just for us as organization, but also to our competitors, and even to organizations that are not there. So they are just forming around ideas and new technologies. And so we recognize that companies that leverage that technologies, but also the way they are able to put that technologies into the market, are dominating or will dominate, depending on the sector and depending on the specific market. Now, what we said is the traditional approach won't get you there. So if you are still thinking in a traditional mode, in which you probably from sensing an opportunity down to having your solution in the market, not entering into too much details, but it's taking you months, if not years, right? So, and if you have in this delivery mode, you probably won't survive. And I like pretty much what Jeff Bezos said once, is not just about what you do and the technology you provide, is more about the way you are working and the way you are flexible enough to jump on the next technology wave. And I think this is exactly the point. So the point is here, how can we able, and most of the companies that are using SAFe are pursuing that goal as well, which is we want to change the direction of our company within weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, despite the velocity we have today, which is months or even years. So we need to reduce that time to market drastically. Now, of course, what you said is relevant. So this is, and if we look into the value stream itself, so from sensed opportunity, funding, the minimum viable product, organizing around value, connecting to the customer, etc. So of course, this is all connected with the 7 core competencies. So we cannot imagine to just concentrate and put all our effort in one or a few of these steps. So we need to have this systemic view. We need to not just pay attention to how we are working in our IT department or where the solution are built, but we also need to take care of what is happening before and what is happening afterwards. But in my opinion, it doesn't mean that we then have to press the button and go full save immediately. Because the good news is here, we can also start small. We can start in even in just an initiative we have, or a small business unit, or in a place that is more suitable for experimenting this new way of working. And of course, having on a smaller scale all these elements. So we don't need to go full save in the entire organization for achieving that. And of course, if we are aiming for this, we won't succeed. So in my experience, always when you are too aggressive and too, let's say, impatient in doing the transformation, you won't succeed, because people, culture, and also the established way of working won't allow you to do so. So my recommendation would be, yes, the business agility value stream is related to this systemic view, but try to, of course, having a bigger goal and the mission clear in mind, but start small, allow experiments, allow relentless improvement, and for sure, maybe start in a place that you are pretty sure you will be able to achieve some success. Because as I always say, agility is not selfishing, so it's there for making our businesses more successful. So if this is not the case, we are not just, we are pursuing the false mission that if we want just to implement agility because of agility.
Also, one thing which is coming to my mind here with this, that when you talk about the implementation roadmap, so I can see that in that implementation roadmap, now we do not have ASE and Safe for Government course available there. So is Safe planning to sunset these courses, or like, are we still eligible to go ahead with these? Or what exactly Safe is thinking of about these courses?
Yeah, as I said, there is no clear decision around these 2 courses, if we are going to update to 6.0 or if we are going to sunset them. For now, or for the moment, they are still the version 5.1 available. And of course, all the SPCs are able to teach them in the version 5.1. And of course, I know maybe it's not ideal, and of course, you might do not want to teach something that is based on a previous version, but unfortunately is what we have for these 2 particular courses. Also because especially the ASE course is not the course that many people are taking, so is also one of the reasons why we are thinking in either rethinking the course itself, or I mean, we don't have a clear idea what to do with this course so far. For that reason, there is no delivery, there is no release date for them.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense to us. Also, another thing, when we talk about the responsibility wheel, so first of all, I would like to say that this time Safe has come up with a very clear picture about the responsibility wheels, which is somewhere helping everybody to understand the exact roles and responsibility. Because what I have seen that in most of the organizations, they are playing the multiple responsibilities. Maybe being a scrum master, they are working as a PO also, maybe being a PO they are. So that clarity of responsibility is somewhere missing. which is, I think, somewhere we are leading to the right direction here, because it is quite clear that if one person is playing more than one role, in that situation also they can identify or distinguish between what they need to do and what they should not be doing.
Yeah, you're right. And here is another example of, if you want, refinement, because we didn't change too much on the responsibility the different roles always had. But what we did was a tremendous work around how to make this more visible and more understandable and more easy to distinguish between one role and the other. And so that was the reason of these responsibility wheels that now are not only for all the roles we have in the framework, so from the epic owners to the business owners, product owners, but also to arts and agile teams, right? And this was a massive work in terms of rewriting all the articles related to these roles. And these will have definitely, and it already had, an impact to all the courses we have. Of course, less in leading safe and safe for teams, and much more in the role-specific courses like the Scrum Master Team Coach one, or the Release Train Engineer advanced course. So that was really an exercise, and also kind of a marketing exercise, if you want, how we can identify these responsibility and how we can make them very visible. And yeah, we came up with these wheels, and yeah, I like it very much, I have to say, because also for explaining very quickly what is this role intended to be and to do, is pretty easy just to take the correspondent wheel and have a chat around it. Also, within a team, or also within a release train, just having an open conversation around, are we aligned? Do we have the same understanding? Because of course we have guidance around a single role, but then of course it depends very much on the context, very much on the specific train or on the team, because then these description, these responsibility has to be even more specified. So what does it mean for us if we look into the product owner responsibility, for example? What does it mean for us connecting with the customer? Do we have the possibility to connect directly with who is consuming, or whoever is consuming our work, or not? So how big is the audience? And so all of these will facilitate this kind of conversation on a team level or on an art level. And yeah, we are also looking for hearing the feedback from the field around these responsibility wheels.
Yeah, so the feedback that I got from the participants, the learners, so that is amazing, absolutely. One thing that I was looking at, that was business owner's responsibility. Usually we say that business owner is somebody who has all the rights to do whatever they want to do. And looking them also sharing some responsibilities, definitely something which is new. So what do you think? Like, is there any specific courseware which will include this business owner's role and responsibility? Or is it just to get the clarity that what business owners need to do exactly? Because I have seen organizations and most of the people telling me that business owners sometimes do not have that much active participation. So is it like an eye-opening for them?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So the business owners are also, I would say, in my experience, at least, the role is pretty clear, but it's not so clear where to find them and how to involve them, and what is their specific assignments during PI planning, for example, or at least it's not always clear. There is a need in the market, we have seen, for a specific course. For now, what we recommend is definitely, and I recommend definitely, is the leading safe, but also specifically for business owners assigned to a train, I suggest all the time that they maybe join also the safer teams, starting having this relationship, this strong relationship with the teams and with the art itself. and you can definitely leverage the safer teams as part of the journey, and of course the PI plannings, etc., for leveraging that relationship. But yes, we have an entry in our backlog for a specific course for business owners. What I cannot tell you if is going to happen in the next few months or in the next years. It's just the beauty of having a backlog. So is prioritized or will be prioritized continuously. And so is there, I know, but I don't know. For now, definitely is not appearing in the next few months. Yeah.
Okay, now thank you so much for answering this. Also, when I look at the Scrum Master's responsibility, so one thing that I realize with that responsibility, that is talking about facilitating the PI planning. However, we have known that RT is the one who facilitates the PI planning, and Scrum Master is the one who's supporting the execution of PI and facilitating the iteration events. So shall we consider that the Scrum Master or a new team coach is no longer a facilitator for the iteration events, or like how we are coming up with this point of facilitated PI planning for Scrum Master role?
No, this is also a great question, and we tried also to be here very, very specific, or more specific, not just by opening and saying, so if you're not doing Scrum on a team level, and many organizations were asking that, so we're not doing Scrum, so why we need a Scrum Master, right? And that was the reason why we introduced also the alternatively the team coach. But as you can see here, we say one of the specific responsibility of a Scrum Master or team coach is supporting iteration execution. So of course, Scrum Master and team coach is there for supporting iteration planning or replenishment session if we are talking about the Kanban team. And of course, one of the main focus area is the team itself, and is the iteration, and are all the events and the artifacts connected to that. But for sure, facilitating PI planning means here, together with the release train engineers, because facilitating PI planning is not just something that one person can, it is too big as a show to be run by just one person. And we wanted to make sure that here the Scrum Master and the team coaches are definitely working together or hand in hand with the release train engineers, just to make the PI planning be a magic event, as we are saying about PI planning. So facilitating PI planning is not meant here as the RT on stage and facilitating all the big items on the agenda, but definitely on a team level and on a crowd level, if you want, between one team and the other, making sure that during the 2 or 3 days, or even more, depending on the distribution, that PI planning is going to be successful. So we wanted to make it pretty clear, because sometimes we had organization not being conscious about that. And now I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah, absolutely. I think yes, in PI planning, definitely Scrum Masters are involved, but yes, they are like somewhere indirectly involved, not so much directly as an RTE, and they are like working in the team breakout sessions and like helping the team in getting everything done. So yeah, I think that definitely helps everybody to understand that what can be the major role. And is there any specific reason that we have used the term team coach now for Scrum Master? Are we, because we know the Scrum Master was a team coach and he or she used to coach the team, guide the team. So any specific reason that we have highlighted this term as team coach now?
Yeah, as I said, because in many organizations, we have a lot of Kanban teams and even a lot of Scrumban team. And for them was a little bit strange having the person who were coaching them and guiding them called Scrum Master, because they say, we don't do Scrum. And also in many organizations, they were already changing the name to team coach or agility master or agility coach.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter the name, but we wanted to make sure that we are not mandating what teams should use on a team level. We, of course, consider Scrum, we consider Kanban, we consider all the extreme programming practices, and of course, hybrid versions like Scrumban. And we wanted just to make sure that if you don't do Scrum, don't feel obliged to have a Scrum Master on your team. Also, because when you're in big organizations and you are looking or shooting for a team coach, and you have the wrong role description, which is also or only pointing to Scrum Master or Scrum Mastery, then it's difficult to find someone that is expert in Kanban, right? If you call them Scrum Master. So we are looking for a Scrum Master, but actually we don't work with Scrum, we work with Kanban. So it was just to make sure we use the proper wording and we call the things with their name.
Yeah, perfect. That makes sense. Okay. Moving on, I think also we have seen about solution management, like we have POPM, we have APM. Do we have any specific courseware for solution management where we can just talk about solution management and not the product management?
No. For now, what we have is the APM course, the Agile Product Management, in which we have also at least part of the course are targeting solution management. We do not have any specific plan for having a dedicated solution management course. But again, we will see if this is the demand is increasing, and I have to say I haven't seen that much interest in having a specific solution management course. But it doesn't mean that if we will recognize the demand for that we won't work on it. So
perfect. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Okay. Moving ahead, I also would like to have a clarity. What do you think about the agile business brain term that we have seen now? We know about agile release train, we know about agile team. Is there something specific about this agile business train? Is there any specific purpose that they are adhering to, and where we can implement these agile business trains?
I mean, just being conscious of time, because we are finished with our time box. But what we wanted to make sure, and also let's say clear within the framework, and there is a specific icon which is related to this, with this business and technology in the lower left corner of the big picture. And this is I would say the intention of this is making some patterns, some emergent patterns visible. So being probably the two more interesting, so what we call the business enabled art, which are actually these agile restraint in which we do not have only the people building up the solution with all the capabilities we need, and not just for build that solution, but also to operate the solution, support it, etc. But also have all the business guys, the business people connected to that. And I'm thinking about, we were talking about big data and artificial intelligence at the very beginning. And I have seen in many organizations, especially in the pharmaceutical industry, but also in the logistic industry. Patterns or emerging patterns in which, we have actually a lot of data. We could sell these data in some way to our clients or even to other clients. And so in organizations that already have a safe setup, I have seen many business-enabled art just dedicated to this. So in which we have the people building up and collecting the data, or at least trying to find out a way how to structure the data so that this can be sold. working hand in hand with the people that will go out to the market and sell these new solutions, and also the marketing people supporting this sales process, and also the procurement guys, the infrastructure guys that's making all these new business unit, if you want, or this new business idea working. And so for that, and having just one agile restraint organized around value, and having all these people, all the stakeholder on board, is a massive booster to being able to deliver this kind of solution very, very fast, and also with high quality. So this is one of the patterns we have seen in the market, in the industry.
Okay, that helps us to understand this term. Thank you so much. I think we have already exceeded the time here. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we are good. The questions were in the chat box, and we have answered all the questions. And I think at the end of the session, while concluding it, I would like to thank you a lot, Mikhail, to help us in understanding this new version, the new framework. And I also would like to congratulate you on behalf of the Agile, I would say, industry, because I have found this new framework very relevant. We have come up with the new content also. And when we talk about Scrum Master, the content, it is actually helping, because we have now introduced the iteration matrix there, which is somewhere relevant to those roles. So I think we are doing amazing job in this to grow us. And yes, thank you so much for your time and for your effort, for your answers. I hope that everybody who has joined, they got the answer of their questions. And if you haven't got any answers, you can write back to us, and we will be coming back with the answers. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Priyanka, and thank you, Acekube, for having been a tremendous host today. And yes, we had a lot of conversation. I enjoyed it. So see you next time then.
Sure. Hoping to see you soon. Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Mikhail.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Same here. Same to you. Bye-bye.